Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Jamie Dean and I'm back with another game collection tour video. It is a rainy, windy, miserable weekend here in Australia land, but that kind of weather is perfect for delving into some retro gaming. Back in the day on weekends like this, I'd be like locking down on the PC, getting into some Age of Empires, some Red Alert, some Doom, maybe even some Lemmings if you go back a bit further. All that sort of goodness, and it sort of got me in the mood for a bit of PC nostalgia today. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at on my shelves behind me, my PC game collection. I've got a fairly decent collection of PC like cardboard, just because PC is where I did a lot of my gaming growing up, like much more so like pre-Nintendo 64 especially. A lot of my gaming was done on the PC. My dad was a really big PC gamer, all the, like, you know, Doom 2, Diablo, lots of RTS, all that sort of stuff. So I've sort of been brought up in and around and enjoying all that sort of gaming. So I've ended up with a fairly decent nostalgic collection of PC games, lots of memories attached to what's on the shelf here. Let's get on into it and I'll show you what I've got. Well, it's miserable out there, but in here I've got a nice cup of tea, I've got a cheeky hot cross bun, we've got a bit of Streets of Scrage to keep me company. I was supposed to go hiking this weekend actually, but I tell you what, this isn't a bad second place, is it? Let's go. Yep, that hit the spot. All right, Scott's showing off his collection. Let's go and do a bit of collection showing myself. So, if you've watched my other videos so far, the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation, you'll see that I've actually done a little bit of rearranging. The Nintendo shelf has now moved over here, and that was largely to make room for the growing PC collection. It has sprawled out over multiple shelves now, so I had to do a bit of a shuffle around to accommodate it. But here it is. My still growing PC collection, as is the case with everything on the shelves. Everything's, you know, it's a work in progress. Let's get on into it because there's quite a bit here to go through. We'll start at the bottom here and then we'll work our way upwards. So a lot of cardboard. I'm very big on trying to get big box PC cardboard. I love my big box PC cardboard because that's what I remember. That's just what that was the default of what PC games used to come in, was big box cardboard. These sort of like DVD style cases came much later, so cardboard PC boxes is largely what I remember from my PC gaming days. Let's have a look what we've got big box wise. I'll take them off the shelf as I go through them. First up is Grand Theft Auto 5, not retro obviously, but a amazing collection with this one. I'll put a bit of a overlay over the top of what's inside this box, because I think like this is a really good example of why I miss big box physical media. Is just like what you get in here is just, I don't know, I think it's just a work of art. It's just beautiful. My favorite GTA game, I think, overall. Really enjoyed this one, had a really good time. Was a little bit hesitant at the start with the multiple protagonists thing. I wasn't too keen on that, but when I played it, all that went away very quickly. But it's just a beautiful big box version of the game. I played it on PC, so PC is what I wanted it on. And I think this version of it only comes on PC. This big multi-disc set with all the lovely artwork, so that's the version I wanted. I played it digitally, sadly, not on physical media, but anyway, great game, love it. I'll put them down here. Holy shit, what a we're coming out swinging. We're coming out swinging early. Here's Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos. What a game. Funnily enough, I didn't actually love this game when I first played it. I wasn't a huge fan of Blizzard's RTSs, coming from much more slower paced games like Age of Empires, Command and Conquer, Dark Reign, stuff like that. this was certainly a step up in terms of speed and gameplay speed, and that wasn't strictly to my liking. I got a taste for it over time, particularly with Warcraft 3 and the campaign, obviously. Fantastic campaign. That's the one we all know and love. But yeah, it took some winning over. But man, I'll tell you what, these Blizzard boxes, these like oh God, I miss these. Don't you remember going into like, you know, like an EB Games or something like that, and just like opening up all the Blizzard multifold boxes and pouring through them? Like, I love this. Bring it back, I say. Like, this is, again, like, they're just such a work of art, I think. And I just adore these multifold, especially like Blizzard was kind of the king of making these, for sure. But yeah, good old Warcraft 3. Put a lot of time into this, playing tower defense, playing the tower defense mod. In fact, that's probably where I put most of my time playing Warcraft 3, was in tower defense. But yeah, I haven't played the campaign. God, I've only played it once, and that was a very, very, very long time ago. Didn't play a whole lot of skirmish instant action because it was just too fast paced for me. But I did enjoy the tower defense mod a lot. And obviously you've got Dota as well coming from this. And it wouldn't be complete without Frozen Throne. They sort of like are a bundled pair, really. You can't really have one without the other. Didn't love Frozen Throne's campaign, I'm going to be honest. But certainly, you know, when I talk about the tower defense, playing tower defense with my friends at LAN parties, it's Frozen Throne that I'm talking about. Look at this. Let's open this right up. There we go. Woo. So cool. Come on. It's very difficult to do with one hand. There we go. So there we go. Both very nice condition. These were eBay pickups. And I knew, again, they're just such classics. I knew I wanted them for the shelf. Did Warcraft 3 have like a double fold? No, it's only got the single fold. Okay. StarCraft. This is an interesting one. This is mainly on my shelf because of... I think I was around a lot of StarCraft, but I've never really played StarCraft. By the time you see this, I may have rectified that on the channel, because this is on my to play for the channel for playing games for the first time. I dabbled in a little bit of StarCraft, but I just didn't love it. Again, like, it turned the fast-paced gameplay nature of Warcraft 3. I feel like it ratcheted it up, and Warcraft, it ratcheted that up significantly. Certainly when you're playing multiplayer. And I got absolutely annihilated. Funnily enough, most of my experience with this was on StarCraft 64, not on the PC version. I didn't play much of the PC version at all. But I'd like to revisit it, especially for the campaign, right? Like, it's just got one of those absolutely classic, much revered gaming campaigns, like Warcraft 3. So I feel, you know, having never really given this a fair shot, I feel like that's a very big oversight on my part, especially coming from somebody who loves RTS, right? So I plan on delving into this one, at least for a one-off, to try it very, very soon. If I haven't done so already by the time you're watching this. Overwatch. A lot of Blizzard love on this shelf, or early Blizzard love. Oh, honey, what did they do to you? Yeah. What can you say about Overwatch that hasn't already been said? I mean, check this, man. Like, what a box. What a fucking box. Am I wrong? Like, I can't be wrong in being the only person that misses stuff like this, right? Like, that misses just beautiful box art. It's just such a thing of the past now. I loved Overwatch when it came out. Played a lot of Overwatch with my buddies. Yeah, had a really, really good time. Overwatch 2, obviously. I've got my, like, you know what? I've got my dehumidifier on next to me that's probably humming away in the background. I'm just going to turn that off. Yeah, I had such a good time playing Overwatch. Really, really, really enjoyed it. And then, obviously, Overwatch 2 happened, and that was that. But I'll always have those memories, for sure, of the original And especially the early days of Overwatch when it first released, when nobody knew. That's the best time to play games like this, when nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. And the playing field is much more level, right? Such a good time. Really good game. Diablo 3 and its compadre, Reaper of Souls. I love Diablo 3. I've always been a big advocate for this game. I do think it is, as a Diablo fan, I will say that Diablo 3 is a dog shit Diablo game. It is. It is a fucking rubbish Diablo game. It's got an atrocious story, horrific looking visuals when you're talking in terms of like the Diablo aesthetic. It was a miss. At being a Diablo game, I feel it was a miss on just about every level. However, it is a really, really good ARPG. Like, if you took the Diablo name off this, I feel like it would not have gotten a lot of the backlash that it got. That's my 2 cents. Oh man, I can't I can't do this with one hand. All right, there we go. Again, lovely big multi-fold box. Really cool. I've put so many hours into this game. I really have. This has got one of my favorite skill systems of any game, not just any ARPG, but any game, full stop. Like the amount of customization, the freedom to just swap things in and out, try different things. You were so encouraged to give things a try. When you got a new skill, it was always exciting to throw it on and see how it interacted with your build. Yeah, lots of really good memories with this one. I had a really, really good time with it. Absolutely loved it. Again, awful Diablo game. On that standpoint, it was a major disappointment, and I can't fault anybody who hates it for that reason. But if, you know, over time, and I probably had the same reaction, to be fair, at the start, but moving through that, I came to really love it as just like a really fun game, a really fun video game. Probably some of the most fun I've had playing a video game came in Diablo 3, I think. And of course, Reaper of Souls, the expansion pack that came in to fix all the brokenness that was in launch version Diablo 3. And I think fairly well received. It was a decent sort of expansion. Again, they had to work within the bounds of what had been already laid down, so they were kind of hobbled, I think. Like, this was sort of touted as a bit of a return to form for the dark, gritty Diablo. I don't think it was that at all. I mean, look at these visuals, right? Like, colourful, cartoony, Warcrafty aesthetic. Like, they were already... There was no getting away from that, because it was already established. But a good expansion. And certainly fixed up the loot system in a very, very big way. I think that was a separate patch from Reaper of Souls, if I remember rightly, but it was about the same time. But yeah, there we go. Diablo 3, love it. Really love it. Here's another one I love. Neverwinter Nights. Oh man, I sunk some fucking time into this. Holy shit. And what's interesting with Neverwinter Nights is I played... I tried Baldur's Gate 2, Icewind Dale, Temple of Elemental Evil, all the D&D Forgotten Realms games, all those classics, like those RPG classics that, you know, were everywhere back in the day. And I didn't like any of them, despite being a really big, oh, I'm just gonna stand up here a bit, a really big D&D fan. Because I just don't like controlling a party of characters. I just like to make my character and be my character and control my character. And Neverwinter Nights finally let me do that. And in return, I put so many hours into this game. So many hours. So this is the version that I had. This is not my copy, but this is the version of Neverwinter Nights that I owned, the gold edition, that came with Shadows of Undrentide. And then later on, I bought Hordes of the Underdark. And what was the other one? There was another expansion. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I've actually got all of those expansions inside this box. I tracked them all down, and they're all in here. But just so much fun playing this game. And I'm not an expansion guy. Like, I don't really play expansions to get, like, I have to really love a game to invest into an expansion. I played through all of the expansions for Neverwinter Nights, as well as a ton of community-made content, which is what kept this game alive, like, for such a long time. And we had a lot of fun playing this at LANs with, you know, dungeons and crap that we'd made for each other, or just starting new runs of the game, co-oping it. Really, really fun. Cool box too. Nice gold shine. And there's 1,000 versions of Neverwinter Nights. There's like a gold version, a platinum version, a fucking who knows what else version. Like they just kept releasing it every time they had an expansion or some other doodad that they could include in the box. They just released a whole new a version of Neverwinter Nights. This pisses me off. I don't know about you guys, but the way the spine is reversed, like the text on the spine should be like top to bottom, but it's bottom to top, always irks me when I see it sitting on the shelf and it's the wrong way around from every other game that I own. I don't have many games that do that, but this is one of those ones. Anyway, Neverwinter Nights, fucking amazing game. Loved it. Absolutely love it. Alright, Witcher 3. I mean, there's not much I can say about Witcher 3 that you don't already know. Incredible game. One that I have not put the time into that it deserves. I only played this, I would say, fairly briefly, between 20 and 30 hours or so. I love The Witcher. Like, the Witcher lore and story. Like, The Last Wish is one of my favorite books ever. I adore that world a lot. And so I'm a bit regretful that I never got to really fully experience Wild Hunt. I know it deviates from the lore a little bit, but, you know, you can take it for what it is. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, this unfortunately was, you know, released post-Children. And as you all know, if you've got kids, that's pretty much the end of your massive RPG days, as was the case for me. So one day I might come back to it. I don't know when. I'd like to, but yeah. I certainly love everything about it. This set has both the game and a soundtrack. All the multi, it's got some stickers and stuff in there as well. All intact. Yeah, very nice condition. Very, very cheap too. If you want something like this for your collection, you can get this very, very cheaply these days. It's everywhere. It's on everything. Yeah, great game. Wish I had the time to really dedicate to it back when it released, for sure. I feel like this one kind of passed me by, unfortunately. All right, here we go with the smaller case stuff before we go up to the big shelf. A couple of little things over this side that are sitting on top. We got a steelbook here that my buddy Justin gave to me, Diablo 4 steelbook, lovely steelbook. Shame about the game, but lovely steelbook. I need to find a better home for this somehow, some way to display it, because I love that imagery there is so fucking cool. So I must work out a way to better display that. A couple of classics up here. This I found in an op shop. Counter-Strike Condition Zero. I think it was $1, or I think that might have even been in with the music CDs for $1. I thought, oh yeah, I'll have that for $1. I've played a bit of Counter-Strike. I was absolutely fucking dog shit at Counter-Strike, but my friends really, really enjoyed it. And so it's worth having on the shelf just for those memories. Condition Zero, I don't think I ever played though. Only the OG. All right. This one though, holy shit! This is nostalgia overload. You ready? You ready for this? Anyone who's my age, who had a dad who played PC games, is going to recognize this. Ready? Nostalgia juices. The master levels for Doom 2. I remember this sitting on our computer desk just all the time. This was always there next to the keyboard. It was like a permanent fixture. My dad was a huge fan of Doom and Doom 2. I think Doom 2 more so was more his game. I wasn't a big fan of Doom back in the day. I love it now, but back in the day I wasn't the biggest Doom fan. But I used to watch him play quite a lot. And he was quite good, to be fair. Hence why he picked up the master levels, I suppose. Look at that fucking CD art, man. Holy shit. They don't make them like that anymore. Let's spin this around a bit. Oh, that's a bad noise. You don't want to hear that. There we go. Check that. Fuck yeah. That's metal as hell. Very, very cool. I found this again in a secondhand store for like $1. Couldn't believe it. Like as soon as I saw it, it was like bang. I was 10 again, watching my dad play this. And yeah, I couldn't believe my luck picking this up for $1 from a secondhand. Like you just don't see shit like this in a secondhand store. So that was an amazing find. One of my better finds, I think, secondhand store finds. I don't know if it's terribly valuable. It might be, but just for the fact that yeah, you don't come across things like that very often. Very, very cool. Lots of good memories. All right, let's have a look here. We've got Command & Conquer Generals. Big Command & Conquer fan. I love RTS games. My dad, again, like my dad was a huge PC gamer and RTS was his thing, right? It was either Doom or RTS games. And so we had just about every RTS that was ever released. He would give a shot. And this one obviously came quite a bit later on, but my love of Command & Conquer and RTS was firmly entrenched at that stage. And so when I saw this, again, this was another secondhand store find for like a couple of bucks. I had to have it. It was a fairly fun game too, like fairly limited. It was a fairly slim offering, I think. It didn't do anything incredible or groundbreaking. I think this was EA's first title after they picked up Westwood, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I had a good fun with Generals. Generals was a big LAN game for us. That was mostly where I played it, was at LANs. Had very interesting anti-piracy software. Don't ask me how I know this, but if you pirated the game, it would work perfectly until you got, I can't remember how far into the game, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Once you started a match, and then your entire base and every unit would self-destruct. Whoever coded that is a fucking legend. So when we were at LAN parties trying to play Command & Conquer Generals, like the head scratching that went on trying to figure out why are some of us just completely getting annihilated 5 minutes into the match? Everything's exploding. Not me though, I was a good boy. I had a genuine copy of the game. Anyway, great. That's one of my great gaming memories actually, is that LAN party trying to work that out and why it was happening. But yeah, fun game. Good times with Generals. Enjoyed it quite a bit at LANs. Here's another big box cardboard, Civilization 4. Oh man, I love this game as well. Adore Civ 4 and Civ 6. I've sunk a lot of time into. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Civ fan. I've got to be in the mood. But if I want just you know how people play like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, like that's their cozy game. This is my cozy game. Civ 4 and Civ 6, like Civ in general, is my version of that. If I want to just chill, put some time into something that's like gives me a lot of good decisions, but it's not too fast, it's not too stressful, Civ is my go-to for that kind of thing. Nice cup of tea, yep, rainy day, not unlike today actually. Would be something like to just settle in and play a bit of Civ for a few hours. Yeah, I still play Civ. I'll play 6 now if that's what I want to play. I haven't tried 7, that just came out as of recording this. But 4 is my favorite, just because, I mean, Leonard Nimoy, absolute fucking goat. I wasn't a Star Trek kid. I am very much a Star Trek kid now. I fucking love Star Trek. It's one of my favorite things ever. But when this was out, I had never seen Star Trek, and so didn't really know a Spock from my elbow. Leonard Nimoy for me was the voice of Civ 4, and did such a good job. Not to mention the opening cinematic song for this too. Fucking goated song, really, really good. One of the best title screen songs ever made. This is the full, complete manual. Like, look at that for a fucking manual. Yes, God, I love that. I love a big chunky manual, dude, and it doesn't get much bigger and chunkier than that bad boy. Look at that. That's a fucking book. Nice one. This was an eBay pickup, very, very cheap. Turned out in good condition. There's a little bit of scuffing on the top, but I mean, any of this old PC cardboard, if you can get it in a decent nick, you're doing pretty well. Great game. All right, I need to be careful of the tower of games down here next to me because I'm going to knock them everywhere if I'm not watching what I'm doing. All right. Sid Meier's Pirates. Nice, dude. I found this, again, secondhand store. Can you believe it? PC big box cardboard in a secondhand store. You don't see it. And yet here's another one I've managed to grab. I had a good time with Pirates. I remember people like, this was such a hyped up game. Like people fucking, at least in my circle, would just talk about how this was like, you know, like, I'm trying to think what, you know, you could just do anything. Like anything was possible in Pirates. You could go anywhere, do anything. And I guess back in the day, it was impressive, like the freedom, but it was still a very simple game. Like it was very limited, but nonetheless, still very fun. And so we had a good time playing Pirates. Again, I didn't love it as much as my friends were fucking enamored with this game. They thought this was the second coming of Christ, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it for what it was. And we had a good time again at Leanne's, sort of playing this one. Yeah. Again, I got this one for the memories. And again, the fact that it was just on a shelf at a secondhand store, I was like, yep, I'm having that. I'm taking that. I'll do a boss cover too. Ah, man, big box cardboard games. Bring them back. Bring them back. All right. Ugh. Guild Wars, my first ever MMO. This was my first love on that front. When I was too poor, just moved out of home, had no fucking money, and couldn't afford to play World of Warcraft, couldn't afford a sub. And so my buddy Sam introduced me to this, Guild Wars, as a replacement for scratching that itch, and it did really well, I think, on that front. I very much enjoyed it. Sunk a lot of time into Guild Wars 2 as well, and I wouldn't mind getting that for the shelf if I ever see it somewhere. But I thought, yeah, really cool one to have just for the memories. Like this is one of those time capsule games for me where it's like so closely linked to a time in my life, like having just moved out of home. Like I think there were 4 or 5 of us, maybe more, all living together in this like shithole house, all fucking destitute. None of us had any money, and so for entertainment we played Guild Wars because there was no subscription. It was a one and done buy. Yeah. Good and bad memories. Good on the Guild Wars front anyway. Certainly learned a lot during those years, that's for certain. But yeah, Guild Wars. Classic. Nice one. All right, what else we got? This is going to be another second-hand store find, gone home. I didn't even know this got a physical release. Not a bad walking simulator. I didn't mind it. I thought it was fun enough, had an interesting story. Yeah, nice little game. If you've never played it and you like games like Firewatch and the like, I mean, this is probably one of the earlier ones that pioneered, like Dear Esther. This is sort of in that vein as one of the pioneers of the genre. I think it's worth a play for sure, as long as you can just enjoy it for what it is. Very cool kind of setup where you kind of come home and everyone's just gone and you're trying to figure out what the hell's happened. Whether you think the payoff is good or bad, I think that's up to interpretation. But I enjoyed it for what it was, for sure. The Wolf Among Us. Man, I really enjoyed this one. This is one I didn't play in its entirety. I can't remember why I didn't play the whole thing, but I have watched the whole thing, like watched somebody else play it. So I know the story. I watched the whole thing. I'm probably due for a revisit of this one because I really, really enjoyed it. Worth checking out, a Telltale game. If you like The Walking Dead, I would... Is this better than The Walking Dead? I think I like The World better, for sure. I don't... It's a hard... It's close. And even just saying that is big praise, right? But I really very much enjoyed the story here, for sure. The Wolf Among Us. If you like story-telling games where you're just making decisions a la The Walking Dead and you haven't played this one, definitely worth a look, 100%. All right. These are all going to fall over at some point. Company of Heroes, one of my favorite RTS games ever from Relic. Really fucking good game. This is one I still go back to every now and then. Even though it's got sequels out, there's just something clean and pure and awesome about the original. They just kind of like, this was like a lightning in a bottle game, I think. Really, really cool. Like they shook up the formula with Dawn of War, and then they really refined that to mirror polish with Company of Heroes, I felt. This is slower paced than Dawn of War 2, which I preferred in my RTSs. Dawn of War is a very, very fast-paced game. Very fast-paced. This is much more measured. Yeah, definitely wanted this one on my shelf. And again, nice cheap one to have. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. No, we're not going to fall yet. This is... I had never seen this before. I can't remember where I got this. This might have been a second-hand store buy or an eBay buy. I can't remember. But this big box Atari collection. Never come across this. I've seen everything in it, but I've never actually seen the cardboard sleeve before. But this is the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Icewind Dale 1 and 2, as well as their expansions, as well as another copy of Neverwinter Nights and the 2 of the expansions there. Yeah, just a nice big box collection of some D&D classics in a sleeve that, yeah, I've never come across anywhere else. I'm going to pop that back up here to stop everything else falling over. All right. Operation Flashpoint. This was my first ever, what would you call it? Open world shooter. I never in my life, like before I played this, like shooters were like corridor or arena shooters, you know, like Doom, right? Like Quake, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, all that sort of stuff. And then I played Operation Flashpoint, which dropped you in this massive fucking area where you could drive vehicles around. Like this was pre-Halo, for me anyway. And I'd just never seen anything like it. And this would lead me onto Battlefield, which I very, very, very much enjoyed. A lot. But yeah, had a good time with this one. We were all just kind of amazed with this and the freedom that it gave you in an FPS game that we'd never seen before that point in time. The Division. I really enjoyed this game. Did not think that much of the sequel, mainly because I didn't enjoy the world as much. Like the Washington DC in summer just wasn't as appealing as New York in winter, mostly because I guess I live in Australia and a snowbound city is just not something that we have. So getting to explore that was really cool. And yeah, I really like cover shooters, and this was probably my favorite cover shooter, maybe. It'd be close. It'd be up there for sure. Yeah. It's a repetitive game, you know, it's a fucking Ubisoft game, it's a checklist game. It didn't quite deliver on everything that it promised, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and I did put a decent amount of time into this one for sure. It was a different kind of concept for a pseudo MMO that hadn't really been done before, and yeah, I liked it. Oh, speaking of games I like, ooh, baby, Stronghold. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love Stronghold. It would be up there as being one of my favorite RTS games ever made. This is so fucking good. This is so good. It's kind of like a resource management sim mixed with an RTS. And at the time of its release, nothing else like that existed. You know, like you would just churn soldiers out of a barracks in every other RTS game at the time, and then along comes Stronghold, where it's like, no, you have to train peasants, you have to cut wood to make bows, and then fletch them. No, cut wood to make planks, then get a fletcher to turn them into bows, then train the peasants to use the bows to create archers. Like nothing like that. You know, you're managing food, you're managing the happiness level of your town to attract peasants in the first place that you can train into soldiers, otherwise you have no soldiers. Nothing like that had ever existed, and I'd played, like I said, just about every RTS that was out there, but I'd never played anything like this, and I adored it. Really good sense of humor, like not overdone, not to a silly degree, but just a really good tongue-in-cheek humor. It's just a fucking great game. And you can get this on Steam, Stronghold HD, for like $1 or $2 on sale. It's like, that is fucking highway robbery. It's an incredible game. The saddest part, the only bad thing about it is that there's no like instant action against the PC NPCs AI. That's its only fault, I think. It's kind of campaign only or versus other people, but the campaign is a fucking banger, and it's got an economic campaign as well as a military campaign. So it's 2 different campaigns depending on what you enjoy. But yeah, one of my absolute favorite games ever made. Love Stronghold, and that version in that case like that is the version that I had back in the day too. Another one I love, XCOM, Enemy Unknown. Oh man, I burnt myself out on this game. I played it so much. I did like a 13 or 16 hour stint on this game straight, marathoned, and totally burnt myself out on it and never played it again. But I fucking loved it. I played it a lot before then, and just such a good game. Again, a game I'd not played anything like this before, really. I didn't play games like Final Fantasy Tactics or anything like that growing up. Turn-based tactics games, but I played a lot of Warhammer in my teenage years, and this kind of like replicated that, coupled with like permadeath and getting attached to your squad members and things like that. Such a good game, such a good game. And also XCOM 2. I haven't actually played XCOM 2. This is an op shop buy, again, $1. I thought, yep, I'll have that for the shelf. I'd love to play this one day, but again, I just burned myself out so hard on Enemy Unknown that I've never gone back to the franchise. But I do need to go back and try XCOM 2 at some point. Also, the cover. I mean, fuck yeah, how good is that? Such a good cover. Total War. I'm a big Total War fan as well. Again, RTS boy. And coupling RTS that I love with some elements of Civ that I love, and you get a franchise that I ended up, unsurprisingly, loving. Shogun 2 was I missed Shogun 1. I didn't catch on to the Total War franchise until a bit later, but I did play a shitload of Shogun 2 and very, very much enjoyed it. A lot of people consider this to be the best in the series of the historical Total Wars. And yeah, I can see where they're coming from, for sure. I think it's just, my only gripe with Shogun 2 is because it's limited to Japan, it doesn't have quite as epic a scope or quite as much variety. I'm gonna move, my old knees are giving out. In its units and things, like every faction feels similar, much more so than some other games in the franchise. But they did a great job of streamlining the scope of the game, but not losing the epic feel of the game. For sure. Yeah, great game. Really good one. And that was coming off the back of Medieval 2, which I also played and enjoyed. Now, this is not like Shogun. This was a sprawling, massive game. No, hang on. There was one between those, wasn't there? Empire. Yes, that's right. We went from Medieval to Empire to Shogun. Empire was even more sprawling than this from memory. But this was a big old honkin' game. And I very much enjoyed this as well. And this is one of those games you could just play, like, you could play this for years and not see everything it has to offer. Really good stuff. All right, back on the GTA train. Oh, baby. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So I got this on, I wanted the PC version of this on in the collection because the PC is what I play this on. This is the only game in my life that I played so much that the disc burnt out. Like the actual foil came off the disc. I put some serious fucking hours into Vice City. And I think I only finished the story once in that whole time. I might have even finished the story. I might have just got close to the end. But it was just a fuck around simulator, you know? You just spend so much time dicking around. I'd never played anything like this before when I played Vice City. Like that open freedom to just do whatever you want was crazy. This was probably my first true kind of open world game that I ever played. I'm trying to think of another one. I don't think there is. I think this would be it. Yeah, amazing game. Incredible cover. Look at that. I'd love a poster of that for the wall. San Andreas, a lot of people's favorite GTA. I didn't put as much time into San Andreas because I never owned it. I only played this at my girlfriend's house at the time. Her and her dad and her sister really enjoyed San Andreas, and I'd sit in on that every now and then. I played it a little bit on PC much later on myself, but never really sort of like clicked onto it in the same way that I did with Vice City or with GTA 5. And I kind of regret that because I believe the story in this is really fucking good. I might need to revisit this one day and give it its due. I don't know when, but it's one that, you know, this is one of my kind of regrets that I haven't put the time in or really played it to the extent that I think it deserves. But yeah, great game. Incredible game. Oh, here's an obscure one. Dom, if you're watching, Heavy Gear 2. My friend Dominic and I are the only two people I feel on the planet who have played this game or even know what it is. This was a mech sim. This was like a bargain bin. Even back then, this was a bargain bin game. You know, you'd see this in the discount bin at PC stores and electronic stores all the time for a couple of bucks. But fuck, man, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. Taking a lot of cues from Armored Core. It was more Armored Core than MechWarrior, I think, in terms of movement. You kind of had like these air skates that you glide along on. So the combat was quite floaty and fast-paced. It feels a little bit like Halo, actually, in terms of control. If you put rollerblades on Master Chief, that's kind of how this felt to play. But yeah, I loved it. And you could get a sword. And what teenage boy doesn't like a big fucking Japanese-looking mech with a sword, honestly? What man-child doesn't like that? I mean, let's be real. But yeah, great game. Really good game. This was a really early pickup for my collection because, again, just lots of good memories of playing this on the PC back in the day. Trine. The first Trine is, man, I really like this. A nice online co-op game. I played through this with my buddies Gary and Scott and had such a good time doing so. Excuse me. That I knew I wanted it for the shelf. 3-player co-op, unusually. But yeah, nice puzzle game. If you like puzzles and you want to play a co-op game that's a bit puzzly, then the Trine series is a good one to check out. Diablo 2, we won't spend too much time on this because we're going to talk about it more very shortly. This is one of many copies of Diablo 2 that I own. I kind of like rescue. They're like little lost puppies. Like I can't leave them when I see them in op shops or something. I have to rescue them. But yes, we'll talk about it more in a moment. Dawn of War. I need to get the big box cardboard of this. I can't find it. Well, I mean, I haven't found it for a price that I want to pay yet, but I'm working on it. And if I see it, that's what it'll be replacing this copy with that. Yeah, holy shit. We put some time into this. Like, played a lot of 40k back in my teenage years. And then a game releases that lets you actually play it in real time. Holy crap, we put some hours into this. Mostly in multiplayer. I remember playing a lot of team versus team multiplayer LAN battles of Dawn of War. Great game. Too fast-paced for me these days, I'll be honest. Like, again, I prefer my slower RTSs, and this was like, holy shit. This was like an absolute gut punch to the whole genre. But I was a little bit more quick on the draw back then than I am now. But lots and lots of really good memories. If I want that experience now, Company of Heroes is where I'll go, for sure. Battlefield 1. At the moment, I don't have Battlefield 1942. That's a game I'm actively looking for to add to my collection because that's where my Battlefield love first started. And more specifically with its Desert Combat mod, that if you were in a LAN cafe at that period of time, there's no doubt that you played Desert Combat because it was everywhere. It was where I lived. But Battlefield 1 was a fucking cracker of a game, which you don't say about modern EA games very often anymore. And this might be one of the last good ones. Because the Battlefield series certainly went to shit after this. It had not been... it'd been okay before this, I suppose. But yeah, this one in particular... And World War I is just a period of history that I find very, very fascinating as well. So it had that going for it. Yeah. Love it. Really, really enjoyed my time with Battlefield 1. My brother introduced me to that game, actually. I remember spending a lot of time sitting on his couch at my mum and dad's, watching him play on the Xbox, and then I went and picked it up myself. Jade Empire. So I owned this on the original Xbox back in the day, and I saw this PC. Again, this is another second-hand store find, the PC version, so I grabbed it. I really enjoyed this game back when I played it, but I never continued on with it. I think the combat system threw me off. Like, I think I was expecting more of like an action combat system, and it wasn't quite that. It was a bit like a pseudo turn-based, like almost WoW-ish kind of combat from memory. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I wouldn't mind going back and giving this another whirl one day, because outside of the combat, I did quite enjoy it. Arcanum. This was another second-hand store find on the same day in the same place as Jade Empire, actually. My friend Vinny loved this game, and he tried to introduce it to me back then, but I only had eyes for Diablo 2, and this was a much slower paced, more fully realized RPG than Diablo 2. I think this had much more in common with, games like Baldur's Gate. But a very unique game with a very unique world, and one that I kind of regret overlooking. Like, I did play it a little bit, but certainly not to the extent it deserved. I mean, check out the cover; it's a really cool cover. But yeah, I've got it for the memories of watching my friend Vinny play it, because he really, really enjoyed it. And it looked great, really cool, sort of like technology versus magic kind of steampunky setting. Yeah, very, very interesting. Dark Reign 2. Look, not the best RTS ever, I'm going to be honest. This is where RTSs were starting to make the jump to 3D and going from those gorgeous 2D sprite work games like Age of Empires 2 to blocky, chunky N64 style, low poly 3D. I don't think did the genre any favors, I'm going to be honest, and I hated it. And not only that, this just didn't play very well either. Like, not as far as I remember anyway. Not a great game. But again, RTS game. Saw it for cheap somewhere. Again, I think another op shop find. So I snatched it up because I do still have memories of playing it. But we'll talk more about Dark Reign very shortly. Very obscure PC game, RTS game, Dark Reign. What is going on here? I've got two stuck together. Come on. The original Call of Duty. Fuck, I forgot I had this. This is another one. Like, I would really love to get the big cardboard version of this, but that is so horrendously expensive now. Holy shit, that's a lot of money. This was the best I could do. I think, I found this at a second-hand store, I want to say, and I wasn't going to leave it there. Yeah, really enjoyed the original Call of Duty. It's probably I haven't played another Call of Duty since the original, to be honest. But this was the first sort of like first-person kind of scripted shooter that I ever played. Where it was like very linear with scripted events going off once you get to certain parts of the level. I hadn't played anything like that before. Didn't hold up well, I think, to replaying because of that. But on the first time through, quite amazing. Yeah. Really, really cool stuff back in the day to see, something like that had just never really been done before. So, wanted it for the shelf. Well, Lord of the Rings War in the North. I've never played this. This is another op shop pickup. One that I wouldn't mind playing. A big Lord of the Rings fan, but just completely missed this one. As well as the RTS. What's the RTS? Middle-earth? Battles in Middle-earth. Never played that either. I really regret not playing Battles in Middle-earth. I think I would have really enjoyed that. I don't know how I missed that. The Command & Conquer Saga. the physical release. So this has got all your classics, as well as Command and Conquer 3. All in one big old heavy box, and it is a heavy box, let me tell you. There's a lot, I think, a lot of manual in here. So, yep, I'd love to get some of the individual Command and Conquers, like, again, the cardboard on the shelf, but like I said, it's hard to find, very expensive. So, for now, that's a placeholder. Another secondhand store find. And good old Skyrim. I never owned a physical copy of Skyrim. I played it via Steam, sunk a lot of hours, hundreds of hours into Skyrim, as did we all. One of my favorite games ever. And so I knew I wanted a physical copy to stick in the collection. But I don't need to go on about Skyrim too much, because doubtless you've played that to death, just as I have. But there we go. There's my nice sleeved copy of Skyrim. And that's it for that shelf. Let's go upstairs and have a look what we've got going on up here. So this is, again, some more big box stuff here. We'll start down this end. Oh man, look at that, Dark Reign. So this is a PC game, a very obscure RTS that I don't think a lot of people played back in the day. Nice big fold out box. This is a sci-fi kind of like, I think, StarCraft-ish, but not really, RTS game. Very difficult game. Very, very hard. One that my dad played a lot of and enjoyed quite a bit, but it had an incredible set of level design tools. That, like, oh man, I spent so much time in the level editor just building levels. The construction kit, that was it. It was like the same tools that the actual designers used to build the game, and yeah, you could just make some like you can make your own levels, make scripted encounters. Really, really, really cool. And it was a really, like, look at that pixel art, man. Like fucking 2D RTS pixel art. I love it so much. So much more than like the 3D poly RTS games. I'd love to see this come back. I really, really would. I think that'd be brilliant. But yeah, just a good, difficult, very unique sci-fi RTS. I think it had a lot going for it. Had some unique factions, some really interesting units. It just had a vibe all of its own, Dark Reign. Like nothing else felt like Dark Reign. So if you haven't played it and you love your RTS, I don't know how you would play it these days, but I'd recommend it for sure. A nice embossed, I don't know if you can see that, there it is, embossed box. I found this big box on eBay, like this is the big box, because I remember this is what we had, this is what my dad had. I remember this box sitting in the top of the wardrobe cupboard next to where the PC lived. And the case for the game would, again, be like the Doom Master levels, would just be sitting next to the keyboard of the computer all the time. But yeah, Dark Reign. Good one. Really good one. Here's another good one in another big box. Dogfighter. Airfix Dogfighter. Oh, I love a good arcade, like, air combat game. Dogfighter was a very good air combat arcade game. Where you would fly model planes around. I don't know if it's got any screenshots. Very tiny screenshots. You probably can't see very well. But you'd be flying around inside a house. And the different levels would be different rooms of the house with different objectives, and you'd be fighting against little plastic tanks and other planes and things. Oh man, this was a fun game. I'd love to see a remake of this. Like a modern remake of this would be awesome. But yeah, this was a game that, like, there weren't too many games where everybody got in on, you know, in my family. But this is one my brothers and my dad and we all played it. We all loved it. So lots of good memories from Airfix Dogfighter. Great game. Bring it back. Rome Total War. This is the king for me. This is the first Total War game I played, and I put so many hours into Rome Total War. An obscene amount of hours. All-nighters. My friend Vinny and I would do all-nighters playing Rome, start up a new campaign, new faction, and away we go. Man, this was just so unlike anything I had ever played before. Took all my RTS love, smashed it in with all my Civ love. And to be fair, I think the Civ part of Total War games are my favorite, more so than the battles. I enjoyed the battles, but the Civ part was just, I think it did Civ better than Civ. Like, I really, really enjoyed the overworld map part of the Total War games. But yeah, great game. Great game. Look at that. And I'd never seen a game with so many models animated on the screen before. Like, look at this shit. This was crazy back in the day. Crazy. But there were so many factions in Rome Total War specifically that you could start and play as, and each faction you played like put you in a completely different part of the world with a completely different set of enemies to fight. Like it was like a completely different game. Every time you played a new faction, it was like a totally different Total War game. And I love that. It made the replay value really, really high, which is what I think Shogun lacked, unfortunately, where all of its factions felt kind of samey just by proxy of, you know, the theme of the game. Whereas this was like a real, like this spanned half the world, you know. Yeah, amazing game. Shout out to Rome Total War. If there's any Rome Total War fans watching, give me a shout in the comments. Absolute GOAT game, that one. God game. Here we got some WoW. Excuse me. Good old WoW. These are the two boxes in particular that I wanted. I'll probably get Wrath of the Lich King as well, because they're the three that I played. Burning Crusade is when I started playing World of Warcraft for the first time. Losing my voice. Nice multi-fold box, come on. Yes. Ooh. Look at that. So Blood Elf Paladin, Ret Paladin, was my first ever World of Warcraft character, and the one that I hold the most dear. Still got that character on my account too, I think. And this is probably the last time I really played WoW, was back in the Wrath of the Lich King days. I was never a super hardcore WoW player, very, very casual. We all know this box, right? Like, we've all spent a lot of time staring at this box. I mean, fucking, that's just... I remember seeing this at EV Games. Just every time I go in there, I'd like, where's the WoW box? Opening it up and staring at it, and then going home to poor old Guild Wars. Like I was having a fucking affair. So cool. But yeah, I won't go on about WoW for too long. One of my favorite games. Ooh, focus. There we go. So many good memories. As I'm sure anyone who played it back in the day also has. Alright. Last but not least, we have The King. Again, another one of my favorite games of all time. Arguably my favorite game of all time, depending on the day you ask me, is Diablo 2. In terms of hours, this is my most played game by far. I play this probably once a year, at least. I'll do another run. Yeah. God, I could make a whole separate video just talking about Diablo 2. I just love it to death, and I still love it. Diablo 2 Resurrected, fantastic remake. Fantastic remake. Look at that. Oh my god. So good, man. So good. Yeah, god game. Absolute god game. My dad had a friend who introduced him to the original Diablo, and I wasn't allowed to play it because I was too young back then. In 96, I believe that was. My mum was like, nope. But when Diablo 2 came out and my dad got Diablo 2 several years later, I was older, and he was like, yeah, come and check this out. And I was hooked. I was hooked immediately. So lots of good memories of my dad and I not ever co-oping the game because we only had the one PC, but just sort of like side by side playing the game and sharing what we'd been up to, what we found, showing each other our loot, our build. He was a necromancer, I believe, from memory. and I mainly played Paladin or Sorceress back then. Sorceress is probably my favorite class in this game, but yeah, man, incredible game. And I mean, like, and in terms of covers too, I mean, check that shit out, man. Like, holy Christ, that is the bee's knees. I had this in my bedroom at one point, and my girlfriend then was like, why do you want that staring at you? I was like, why not? Are you kidding me? Look at it. Yeah, she wasn't a fan. I thought, well, probably time to move all this into a games room, I suppose. All right, and also more Diablo 2. I'll just move these to the side here. So here's the big box battle chest. I actually have 2 battle chests. There's another one here. There we go. So one of them has the original Diablo, and one of them does not. This is the one with the original Diablo in it. But this one, I believe, also has a comic book. Yes, I think so. And so that's in there as well. So I've got both. Obviously a little bit Diablo obsessed, as you can tell, right? But yeah, amazing game. So that is my PC collection for the moment. But again, it is growing. There are games that I want to put onto the list there and put on the shelf that I don't have. I'm just trying to have a think of, like, what games do I not own that I would like to own and have on the shelf. So I'm just putting crap away as I'm talking here. There's quite a few. I think the biggest omission for me would be Age of Empires 2 right now. Like, that's probably the one I'm actively chasing the most. But I don't just want, like, the jewel case of AoE 2, like, you know, in the little CD case, which you can get fairly easily. I want the cardboard, right? That's what it's about. So I think trying to find that is not a cheap endeavor by any means. I've looked, and I'm yet to find one that I can afford, but I will keep on looking until I find it, because I definitely want to put that on the shelf. I think Red Alert is the other one. Now, I don't have high hopes of ever getting the cardboard for Red Alert, because that's even more rare and even more expensive than Age of Empires. But Red Alert is such a important game to me. It's one of my, again, favorite games of all time, one of my favorite RTS games of all time. Put so much time into that game in particular, and Red Alert 2 as well, that they are both ones, even though they're in that sort of Command & Conquer collection that I've got up here, I would like to get the big box cardboard of those one day. Even just the jewel case of those would be enough, you know. Gosh, what else? I've just actually, it didn't get here in time, but I've just acquired I'm gonna have to think about where the fuck I'm gonna put it, but I've just acquired a Grail game that's a PC game. It's on its way. Didn't arrive in time for me to have it for this video, but I would very much like, it's going to be on the shelf very, very soon. You'll probably see a pickups video. It'll be in my next pickups video for sure. But that's very exciting to get that one on the shelf. I can cross that off my list. What else would I like? I mean, the Dooms would be nice. Quake would be nice. But again, we're talking big money. We're talking big money for the cardboard of these games. So, you know, if I happen across them, brilliant. I'm not actively searching for them quite as hard as Red Alert and Red Alert 2 and Age of Empires 2. But I'd like to have them for sure. And I'm sure there are others, you know, that I'll remember when I see them. Again, I played so many PC games growing up that I often forget just exactly what I've played until I spot it and go, oh, yes, that's right. Like at LAN parties, right? Like you go to a LAN party with your friends as a teenager and you play like fucking, 10, 12 games every time you go. Unreal Tournament, that's another one I'd like to get. Yeah, there's a few. But anyway, what do you think? Were you a PC gamer growing up? Do you have many memories of any of these games I've got sitting on the shelf? Are there any glaring omissions that you think I need to rectify and get on my shelf that I don't already have? Make sure you drop down the bottom and leave a comment and let me know if you have any suggestions or any memories around any of these games that I've shown off today. I certainly do. This is a very, very nostalgic part of my collection for sure. Otherwise, my friends, that's going to be it from me. I really appreciate you hanging out and checking out my little corner of nostalgia here. Make sure you give the video a like if you enjoyed hanging out. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or any retro gaming playthroughs as I make my way through my games I've never played before list with some really big hitters that I've never encountered. I'm slowly crossing off my list as I go through and play those for the very first time ever, and you can share in that if you hit that subscribe button down below. But that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy.